I swear you fucking vegans are trolling me. Well, you know, every once in a while I get a vegan in my comments, and because I advocate a lot of ketogenic type things, and of course I eat the shit out of anything with flesh, that vegans often try and argue with me. I don't have anything against people choosing to be vegan. Let me just start off by saying that. It's a choice. Eat what the fuck you want to eat. I don't have a problem with it. You know, you don't want to kill animals. That's fine. What I have a problem with is when people are pressing their ideological diet, which is what the vegan diet is. It's, I don't want to eat animals. And they try and do it in the guise of health. And when they start telling sick people, i.e. people with diabetes, heart disease, cancer, that the vegan diet is the path to cure all of these fucking diseases, and they completely ignore human physiology in the process, that's where I start getting a little pissy. Because I've been fed bad advice my entire life about weight loss. I've lost people to cancer. I've lost people to heart disease, and they were all told fucked up shit to do, and not only did their illness get worse, but it ultimately killed them. So when I see a documentary come out called What the Health, this was suggested to me in the comments, that asking what I thought of it. Well, you asked, so I'm here to tell you. What the Health is the biggest pile of fucking vegan propaganda horse shit I have ever laid eyes on. I could not finish it. By about 30 minutes into this fucking thing, I wanted to throw my phone out the fucking window, okay? That's what I was watching it on, my phone. I wanted to, you know, I was pissed. Because they're sitting there, okay, first of all, the motherfucker goes on there, and you could tell right away, you know, processed meat and meats and bad and meats and beets and bad as meats causes meats, beets, meats, processed meats and more and fucking meats and man. Not one shred of science in this fucking documentary, at least not as far as I watched. And from what I've seen from other reviews, that's the case pretty much for the entire fucking thing. It's a fucking movie for vegans to fap to so that they can justify their diet and try and claim the mantle of best diet ever. First of all, there is no best diet ever. Everyone functions a little differently. There are so many factors involved. Sustainability, you know, fucking politics in your case, you know, what you actually like to eat, what you're addicted to. There's all kinds of factors, not to mention your metabolism, how much metabolic damage you have, how much insulin resistance you have, you know, and a lot of people fall in different spectrums of tolerance of carbs and sugar. And you guys completely dismiss that in this fucking movie. You even went so far to say that sugar is harmless to us. And I'm here to tell you, you are grossly misinforming people, okay? Now, I can agree on one thing. Processed meats are not healthy. They're not any healthier than your vegan processed crap in the green section at a fucking grocery store. They're the same shit. I don't disagree with that. Our food industries fucked us. They did. On every front. Everywhere you go, something's fucked up. Even the shit you buy in the goddamn Whole Foods section. Alright? All of the fucking farmed products have been fucked with by Monsanto in some way. Alright? So, everything we eat has some kind of negative side effect, and that's part of the process of the industrialized agriculture and the industrialized food that we consume that have gotten us to this point. I do not dispute that processed meat is less healthy than organic meat. It's also cheaper. However, that does not make it the criminal in the case of our obesity, diabetes epidemic. There is but one suspect in that fucking lineup. Alright? And we tried to pin it on fat. How'd that work out for us? When we went low fat, you remember that? Still there. You can go in the supermarket and you can point out low fat on all kinds of shit. All kinds. And where'd that get us? Obesity is skyrocketing. Diabetes is skyrocketing. Cancer is skyrocketing. Everything is fucking skyrocketing. And people are eating less fat now than they did 30, 40 years ago. And somehow you're gonna say that the dairy industry has come up with this big conspiracy campaign. But first of all, there's been no dairy industry influenced me ever. Alright? Science. Biochemistry is how I make my eating decisions and fasting decisions. Alright? I know I need to keep my insulin down the majority of the time. Whether it's through fasting, whether it's through a ketogenic approach, one way or another, I need to keep my insulin low on a regular fucking basis. And if I don't, my insulin-resistant fat ass will get fatter. Plain and simple. Not to mention all of the fucking other metabolic diseases that fall into line when you are insulin resistant. I still have fatty liver. And I'm targeting that, and it's working. Alright, I was fucking 36.25 inches this morning. That's an all-time low for my waist measurement. It's a feast day, so I'm fucking not there now. But this morning, it's trending downward. I measure during my fasting periods, and it is trending downward, and that's what I like to see. And you know what? I eat plenty of processed food in that. You know, so that kind of shoots a little bit of wad in a whole lot of health theories. Now, I'm not saying that what I'm doing is optimal. And I do know I'm damaging myself with some of the foods I eat. But I don't have a lot of options out here in the trucking world. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is for you to come in and say, you know, bacon causes... Oh, and the other thing that pissed me off in this movie is they're literally comparing every animal product to cigarettes. Blah, 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 cigarettes. Blah, 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 cigarette smoke. Blah, 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 bad as cigarettes. Blah, 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 bacon kills you like cigarettes. Blah, 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 cigarettes. Bacon was around long before cigarettes. And we did not have this fucking epidemic back then. Yes, there were occasional diabetics back in the day. Yes, there were occasional heart diseases back in the day. Yes, there were fat people back in the day. But you know what? Not to the level that we have achieved in our time now. And the one thing that changed was the level of processed foods and the amount of sugar in those foods. Has nothing to do with meat. Now, meat's been doing fucked up shit too. They're putting hormones and shit in there. They're trying to GMO the shit so it becomes some big mutant motherfucking thing that has 10 times the meat and grows 10 times faster and all this other horse shit they're fucking around with. And I agree, that shit needs to stop. Put the cow out in the field, let it eat the fucking grass, and then kill it and eat it. That's what I want to do. You know, maybe I'm an insensitive prick. But I like burgers, I like fucking bacon, let's kill the pigs, yep, we gotta kill them. You know, I want to eat the pigs. I like pigs. And you know what? We're part carnivores, whether you like it or not. If we were herbivores, we would be a whole hell of a lot different species than we are now. So, I realize I'm ruffling feathers with this video, but I am passionate about this subject because I have seen firsthand results. I have heard testimonials from thousands of you now about how fasting changed things. And the reason fasting works is it keeps your insulin down. Now, before you vegans go nuts and try and throw the whole red meat causes insulin, true, but an insulin rise for a different purpose. It is there to shunt branched chain amino acids to your muscles in the case of eating meat. You are not going to make fat that way. When you eat sugar, particularly fructose, and you eat carbs when your glycogen stores are full, which, by the way, if you're eating 3 times a day, chances are your glycogen's fucking already full when you're eating. So guess what the liver does then? It converts it to fat. If you overconsume meat, you will also convert that to sugar. And if you overconsume meat while your glycogen stores are full, you will make fat. But you can also convert the fat to sugar when you need it and your glycogen's empty. Our body knows what the fuck it's doing. This isn't rocket science. And this is basic fucking biochemistry, all right? You almost learn this in high school. And I take a lot of offense when a person labels themselves, which I am neither, by the way. I'm not an expert. This is opinion based on my experience and knowledge and research. But when someone calls themselves a doctor or a nutritionist and they don't understand the biochemistry of our bodies, they don't understand how our liver processes the foods we eat, if they don't understand how our hormones work intimately, then they are not qualified to proclaim that they are an expert. I understand all this shit, and I still don't feel qualified to say I'm a fucking expert. Alright? I just know it works. And I'm always experimenting on myself. I'm always trying new methods. Because, goddammit, I want to eat the sugar. Let's not fucking fuck around here. I want the good foods. I want to walk into a restaurant and sit down at that 3,000 fucking calorie plate of death and enjoy the shit out of it. But I know I gotta do something or it will kill me. So I do. In this case, I do ADF right now, and it's working. I have no problems with it. When I eat, on my eat days, I eat happily, and I don't discriminate that much. I am watching the sugar as much as possible. If I can avoid sugary shit, I do. Doesn't mean I don't have a dessert every now and then, but for the most part, I'm eating starches, you know, and yes, there's hidden sugars in the processed foods that I've eaten, but I even try to avoid those. I eat more fruits. I eat more whole foods now than I used to when I did just fasting. When I lost my first 50 pounds on the standard American diet, just with fasting alone, you know, I am doing things a little differently, and I am finding that I'm passing my plateau because I have continued to monitor the amount of sugar I take in. And I'm eating all kinds of processed meat, all right? And I'm still losing inches around my belly. I am still losing weight. I feel confident I could be in my 180s by a month or two from now if I continue on my current trajectory, because I feel this is working, and it's working well, and I feel good. I have good energy. My energy dips a little bit when I eat a lot, If I eat a big-ass carb-loaded meal, I do feel the like shit. And that is a blood sugar response. And I'm not saying this cures insulin resistance by any means, but it definitely doesn't cause the damage that eating carbs and sugar all the time will cause you. Will cause somebody that's diabetic. Will cause somebody that has heart disease. And we're still not preaching this to people with heart disease. Alright? If you have these problems, you can't go back to eating shit. I fortunately did not hit any of these health issues. I came close to being diabetic at my heaviest. But I reined it in and lost the weight, and my blood sugar is 75 whenever I check it, fasted. Which is a little on the low side, and I still feel good, which means I'm burning ketones too. So, and that's the other thing. If Dr. Greger, I am done with him. Alright? If you suggest for me to watch something and it has Dr. Greger in it, I'm going to give you the finger. Alright? Because that motherfucker is spewing all kinds of bullshit that isn't true and ignoring all kinds of bullshit that is. Alright? He's ignoring science and fucking human physiology and shit that he should know if he calls himself a doctor. And there's a couple other vegan doctors on there who are also not acknowledging the scientific evidence. And you gotta think, why? Why are they doing this? You know, what do they have to gain if everybody became vegan? Well, I know they'd sell a lot of books and documentaries and videos. But what happens if we adopt their diet and our health doesn't improve? Which I've seen. I've seen vegans go vegan and remain overweight and have diabetes and have cancer, and they're still vegan. And the reason for that has nothing to do with the fact that they're vegan. It has to do that they're eating vegan processed foods loaded with sugar and carbs when they're insulin resistant. Not everybody's insulin resistant. I am aware of this. Not one size fits all, unlike you vegans seem to think. But you gotta understand that if you start preaching this shit to sick people, and they follow your shit, and they still get sick, you know, sicker and sicker and die, I think you have a little bit of culpability there, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Now, I encourage everybody who watches the shit I talk and the opinions I give to go out and do your own research, especially if you're sick. And I encourage you to find science, proven shit, not observational, well, we saw this many motherfuckers get sick while they were eating bacon. Well, at the same time, what else were they eating with the bacon? Chances are, if you look around, and I look around a lot, they were eating sugar with their bacon, all right? There was plenty of sugar in their diet. There's nobody to... You know, there was no study where they took motherfuckers and said, here, you sit here, you guys are going to have bacon, and then they sit the other guys and say, you guys are going to be vegan, and whoever doesn't die wins. They haven't done that yet. These studies that vegans often throw at me are observational studies, all right? And there are plenty of observational studies that dispute those studies, all right? Especially the diet heart hypothesis, which is what got us in this fucking mess in the first place, and they still spew that at you. Fat makes you fat. Derp, no. Fat does not make you fat. Fat makes you full. Everyone thinks because it's, you know, extra calories per gram and all of that other shit that's worse. No. No. Fat satiates you. We crave it. We need it to survive. And guess where it comes from, mainly? Alright, yeah, there's some fat in nuts. But what happens when you eat a lot of nuts? You just want to eat more nuts, don't you? That means your body's not getting what it wants from the fat and proteins in the nuts. What happens when you eat a big old fucking steak? Guess what? You're full. You're happy. You're satisfied. And you build muscle. You build your tissues back up. We need protein. You cannot survive without protein. And we need some specific proteins that are only in animals. Otherwise, we develop problems. And I've had former vegans tell me this. So, be vegan if you want. I don't give a shit. Just don't tell everybody it's the one-size-fits-all fucking universal save-your-life diet. Because it is not. It is entirely based on political and philosophical things. It has nothing to do with real, actual science. Alright? That's my beef with this documentary. And it's why I will not ever recommend What the Health or Cowspiracy, which was the prequel to it, to anyone. There are plenty of other documentaries that I respect that even have some plant-based philosophies behind them, but they don't go to straight for the, oh, that's worse than cigarettes, oh, the processed meat, the cows, the meat, the butter, it's bad, fucking bad, animals kill you, you're gonna die if you eat. No, they don't do that. They go after the food industry. And the food industry is doing a lot of fucked up things. And I agree with that. Well, they are. Stop it, food industry. Just be on the up and up. Make us happy to go in and buy your shit and eat it and put it on our bodies, alright? Instead of making us sick. And then making us have to go to the pharmaceutical industry and pay them motherfuckers a bunch of money to fucking fix us. And then we still fucking die and they just take all our money at the end. It's all just a way to get our money. You know, and there's nothing, you know, we could sit here and fight between the keto community, the fasting community, the fucking fitness community, and the vegans. We can do all of this fucking infighting all day while the fucking food industry is just taking all of your money. You know, when you go into that health store that's labeled GMO this, organic that, fucking came from a fucking virgin cow that was on the hill that only got fucked once in its entire life or something. You know, you can go and pay all your extra hard-earned money that you spend half your life fucking working to make just to feel good about eating the virgin cow on the hill or eating the fucking plant that was planted by, you know, an Amish dude in the middle of fucking nowhere with no processed Monsanto horseshit mixed in with it. Yes, by all means, go and feel good about that. But realize it's not for your health that these things are happening, alright? People are giving you food for one reason and one reason only. They don't give a fuck if you're gonna starve to death. They don't give a fuck if you're gonna get cancer. They definitely don't give a shit if you get fat. In fact, they want you to get fat so you'll eat more of their food. They want your fucking money. Alright? That's all it is to it. Every motherfucker wants your money. Every restaurant, every food place, every grocery store, every fucking manufacturer, every fucking farmer, everyone that is providing this fucked up food for you wants your money. And they realized early on the best way to get your money is to make shit taste really, really good and be really, really addictive. And there's a perfect formula for that addiction. Turns out a combination of fat, and not necessarily good fat, vegetable oil, that kind of shit, which I agree is bad also, and most of our food is cooked in the fucking restaurants and fast food industries. So, we're fucked. Make no mistake, we are fucked. If you don't own your own fucking organic farm, and you aren't growing your own shit, and got your own livestock, and you're feeding yourself in a self-sustaining kind of way, chances are you're just as fucked as everybody else. You just don't know it. And you're paying more money. Because it makes you feel good to have the package that says natural GMO fucking, you know, organic shit on it. And the fact of the matter is, it's all about the fucking Benjamins. Alright? So before the vegans come in and start lambasting me with all kinds of hate, I don't hate you. I don't have a problem with vegans at all. Just don't fucking tell people bad shit, alright? That's it. Use real science, real biochemistry. Understand how your body works and eat based off of that. Do your protocols based on how your body works. Your body, not the body next to you, not the body down the street, not the bodybuilder in the gym, not the fat guy at next door. None of these people know what's right for you. The only way to figure out what's right for you is to experiment with these things based on your knowledge of how your body and hormones work. And we are all slightly different in this respect. Some of us have no hormonal problems whatsoever. Some of us are way fucked up hormonally. And we become sick because of it. And the key to health is to fix and regulate and control your hormones. If you manage your insulin and your insulin resistance, you won't get diabetes. You won't get heart disease, and you'll gravely reduce your chances of cancer. There are still a lot of other factors in cancer. There's genetics, there's chemicals in the environment, there's all kinds of shit that causes cancer. Pretty much, you can't walk down the street without coming across some kind of carcinogen, alright? Sorry to break it to you, but it's just the world we live in. So, but you can starve cancer. You can provide an environment that reduces the chance of the cancer that's probably in all of us from growing. You know, I'd hate to break it to you, I think most of us have cancer. It isn't growing yet. And if we don't feed it properly, it probably won't grow. Same way, if you don't feed your muscles properly, you don't get gains. It works the same for cancer. And cancer, by the way, burns sugar. Not fat, not protein, sugar, carbs. If it's not getting glucose, it's not gonna fucking grow. But that's what I have to say. But remember, and you vegans really need to listen to this part because this applies to you. I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. And all of you out there should say that at the end of anything you tell anybody. Because we're not. None of us are experts. If we were, we wouldn't be fucked up to begin with, alright? We're all just out here trying to figure out what the fuck's going on and how to fix it. Some of us are doing better than others. Some of us, certain things work. Some of us, certain things don't work. Find what works for you. Tell people about it, of course. Say, this worked for me. And encourage them to go out and try it. Did it work for you? Well, fuck no! I hear it all the time. I can't fast. I can't go 12 hours. I want to cut a bitch. I hear it all the time. I know what I do does not work for everybody. For various reasons. Sustainability, happiness. There's all kinds of reasons not to do what I do. And I understand that. I'm just sharing my experience. And since I've started doing that, I have gotten a lot of feedback, positive feedback, that what I've done, people have tried for themselves, and it worked like a fucking champ. So, if it works, do it. If you're happy, even if it's not working, but you're happy, do it. Just understand it. That's all I want. I want everyone to know how their body works. I want everyone to know what they're buying at the store, what they're doing when they walk into a restaurant. I want people to know when you drink that soda, you're fucking yourself. Or when you eat that fucking cheesecake, that you're really not doing yourself any favors. You know, I know this myself, and it's painful knowledge. It's not fun knowledge, you know, to know that every time you're eating something fucked up, that it's fucked up. It takes some of the fun out of it. It can. But knowledge is power. Knowledge allows us to control ourselves better and to not let industry, government, and the healthcare world run our lives and take all our money. So, I'm off my soapbox now. Hopefully I didn't lose some of my 3,000 now subscribers. I did notice that I'm at 3,000 now. And I did take a break from editing my adventure videos to get this particular video out, because I think it's important to get out there and just really, you know, expand people's knowledge. So, don't watch What the Health when you do your research. That's my opinion. It's a shitty fucking vegan fat fest that has no real value for your health at all. It should be called What the Fuck, because that's about what I yelled what the fuck probably 10 times during my brief watching period with this movie. Alright, so, and quit suggesting these fucked up vegan films to me, because I will never, ever be a vegan advocate. Alright? I will never be a vegan. I will never go vegan or be plant-based anything. Alright? The science that I have come across and that I have read, researched, and been lectured on probably over 1,000 hours of lectures I've heard at this point. And I believe the science enough to never go plant-based, alright? I've seen what happens when you drop motherfuckers into the wilderness and they're left to have to eat, including vegans that were dropped in the wilderness, and how they continued to starve while others who hunted ate and thrived. So, take from it what you will. Just remember, I'm not an expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. And have a nice motherfucking day. And fuck Dr. Greger. And them other doctors that were in that fucking movie. I don't even remember all their names. I should probably write their names down so I know not to watch them anymore. Also, please like and subscribe for more videos. And I'll make more fucking videos. And sorry, vegans. I still love you. I just don't like your diet. Never will. My bad.